So thank you all for attending. So this webinar is based on the new features of SOLIDWORKS Inspection 2017. My name is Sam Shikawi. I'm a technical solutions expert at Javelin Technologies.
And I'm Scott Lidgy. I'm the Technical Solutions Team Manager for Canada.
Here at Javelin, we're looking for solutions for every stage of your product lifecycle. So first, for people, we know that people are your competitive advantage, and we want to help your people through training.
And technology is what we're going to be looking at today, one of them being inspection, but we're always out there looking for the next best technology that's going to help you guys succeed with your products and companies.
And for process, we want to help capture, control, and manage your data at your business.
And then manufacturing is where you guys make the money, so we want to make sure that the process is intact so that we can get the information from design right through to manufacturing as cleanly and as quickly as possible.
So we are coming to an end for our SOLIDWORKS 2017 solution webinars. We do have a couple more. So if you want to register, please find the link on the bottom left. If you haven't already done so, please fill out our launch survey located on our website. And those who are in attendance have a chance to win 1 of 5 wireless space mice. And if you did fill out our launch survey, you do have a chance to win a $500 Apple gift card, an NVIDIA Quadro M4000, and a MakerBot Mini. The deadline for our launch surveys are on November 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So please get those launch surveys in. And so today we're going to be looking at SOLIDWORKS Inspection 2017. So what is SOLIDWORKS Inspection? What's the quickest way to get from your drawings to an inspection document? And we're going to be looking at working with non-SOLIDWORKS drawings such as PDFs and TIFFs. And lastly, we're going to be looking at closing the loop and actually performing the inspection. So what is SOLIDWORKS Inspection? SOLIDWORKS Inspection comes in 2 interfaces. It comes in the standalone, which will work with PDFs and TIFFs, and it comes in the add-in, which starts an inspection drawing right from the SOLIDWORKS interface. So with SOLIDWORKS Inspection, it automates the creation of balloon drawings. It will extract your inspection characteristics, and it will create your Excel-based reports, and we're going to take a look at those. And all these combined, it will give you up to 80% in time savings. So the quickest way to get things started. So we're going to start off with our SOLIDWORKS add-in. So the 2 new features for 2017 is our locking the balloon numbers, and we're going to be taking a look at manually ballooning our drawings, and then lastly publishing drawings and our reports. So if I jump right into my SOLIDWORKS, we have a drawing of a plate here, and we want to start an inspection report on it. So we're in our SOLIDWORKS Inspection add-in, and so let's start our inspection project. So when I start my inspection project, I'm going to choose my template. So for this one, I'm going to choose my default template. And so what those templates do is it populates some of these areas in my properties. So since I chose a default template, it's empty. And I can go ahead and I can manually type in my part number, or I can select my part number, and I can grab it right from my custom properties. So my part name and my revision. So now if you look down, we have a new feature for 2017. It's called locking the balloons. Now this feature, when I have it selected, it will prevent renumbering of my balloons once I delete a characteristics or a dimension. Now if I fill in the rest here, and I go to next, now here I'm just going to choose which types of dimensions I want to extract. So for this one, let's choose our inspection only, and what that's going to do, it's going to be pulling out, it's going to be adding characteristics to our inspection only dimensions. And so if I press OK, it's going to automatically populate my drawing with my balloons. And from here, I can go ahead, for example, if I want to delete a dimension, and let's add another dimension here as well. And since we chose inspection only, let's change this dimension to an inspection only dimension. Now if I press rebuild, and I scroll down just a little bit here, I'm going to get one with red. Now this is showing me that I deleted a dimension. So if I right click and I accept this annotation change, you can see how the balloon automatically disappears, and my numbering stays the same. So that's new for 2017, is that I've locked the balloons now so that it doesn't renumber once I delete a dimension. So if I scroll down a little bit more, I see there's another green annotation change. Now that I've added an inspection dimension, now I can go ahead and accept this. And once I accept this, you can see it automatically gets ballooned to the next number. Now if you take a look at a more complex drawing, and let's start another new inspection project. Again, we're going to be using our default template. Now let's just go down to our characteristics info. So we've taken a look at our locking balloons feature for 2017. Another feature that we didn't have before is the extraction method. So now we had an automatic extraction method where we just pull in and it automatically balloons our drawing. Now we have a manual method. So if I choose my manual method and I go to next, you can see how under dimensions now that's grayed out because I don't want to select any dimensions that I want to pull because now I'm going to be doing it manually. I'm going to be manually ballooning my drawings. So if I go ahead and press OK, you can see how nothing gets updated. I don't get any balloons on my drawing. I'm going to be doing it manually. So if I go up to Add Characteristic, now if I select on a dimension, it's going to be ballooning it and it's going to be adding a characteristic to these dimensions. So any dimensions that I add, it gets ballooned. Now I don't have to select one by one. I can go ahead and cross-select quite a few at the same time, and they get updated. Now let's say I don't want one of these dimensions to be ballooned. I can go ahead and deselect it by just selecting on one, and it gets deselected that way as well. So when I'm done, I'm just going to get rid of Add Characteristics. Now I select on my characteristics, and I can go through my properties like I usually do, and I can deselect it this way, and I can reselect it. I can make it into a key feature, and I can go down to the bottom. I can change the operation. So for example, if this was used through cutting, I can make it through cutting, and I can change the method of which it's going to be used to measure. So for this one, let's use an inside micrometer, for instance. So once we're done with our drawing and we're happy with it, we can go ahead if we wanted to export it to PDF. So let's export this drawing to PDF, and let's press Save. And we can also export it to Excel. So let's take a look at the report in Excel. So this is the report that gets created in Excel. So we do see the requirement dimension, we have our upper and lower limits, and here we also inserted one of our designated tooling that you have. Now this is automatically populated, and this can be customized towards your business standards. So if we take a look at our PDF drawing that we created, you can see how this is ballooned, and we've also created a PDF of our drawing. Just jumping right back in, we have another option. We also can export to SOLIDWORKS Inspection Project. Now what that does is that it exports it to be used with our standalone inspection interface. So that's another nice option there. So for our add-in, we did take a look at the two new features. So locking balloon numbers, it does prevent your balloons from renumbering. And our manually ballooning, we took a look at manually ballooning dimensions through by just selecting them. And then lastly, we published drawings and an Excel report. And now I'm going to hand it over to Scott to take a look at working with our non-SOLIDWORKS drawings in the standalone interface.
All right, thanks, Sam. So if we, moving on, we're going to go into the standalone environment. That's the way you do interact with typically a PDF or a TIFF formatted file. In there, we're also going to talk about how we manage design changes in that standalone format. So in the standalone environment, there was not a lot of big enhancements. It was a very mature product even when SOLIDWORKS first acquired it. They've made some nice enhancements, and really the only new one for the standalone environment is the mouse control, so that it's more intuitive if you're moving from SOLIDWORKS to the standalone interface. We zoom in and out the same way as we do in SOLIDWORKS, and we pan the same way. It's just of a comfort factor. For those of you unfamiliar with this product altogether, the way the standalone module works is that it's using an optical character recognition, also referred to as OCR. And that's how we're going to capture the characteristics on a PDF or a TIFF file. You know, if that's the format that you're saving in either internally or you're getting these from a customer or a supplier. So with that, we're going to also talk about how do we manage revisions in a PDF format. Right. So let's jump in. So if we go into the standalone interface, so this could be running on a completely different system. It doesn't need SOLIDWORKS to run. It is using the SOLIDWORKS Inspection license. As Sam mentioned before, it's one software with two interfaces. So we're going to start out similarly. We're going to start a new project, and we have templates to start from. And as Sam mentioned, the templates will hold things like some default properties as well as the ballooning style we'd like to work with. Maybe you have different customers or different processes, and they have different standards. So immediately it's going to ask me what file type do we want to work with. So we're going to bring up a PDF file, and as it is a PDF, I don't have that nice flexibility to be able to just scan for dimensions and such. So what I'm going to do is start just capturing by window selecting. I could type it in, but then that's the step we're trying to eliminate here. We don't want to have to type anything in. We don't want to have any typos. So if we hit the little capture button here, I can then come in and just simply window select the data I want, and the OCR engine is going to recognize that as characters and type it in for me. So we'll do the same thing for the part number down here, and we'll do it one more time for the revision. All right, and then we could do that for all this other information as well. Any other custom fields. A lot of these lists you've seen both Sam and I use can be customized to your processes as well. So if I hit OK to this one, let's look at the interface. So the big change this year, as minor as it might seem, it's a very big comfort to be able to just zoom in, zoom out exactly the same way as we do inside SOLIDWORKS, even down to the point of it's going to focus in on where your cursor is. So if I stay to the left, it's going to zoom in there. If I stay to the right, it's going to zoom in there. All right? And then same with the pan, is the same middle mouse button as what we have inside SOLIDWORKS. So once we have the drawing open, and we now want to start capturing characteristics, so we're going to choose the different types. Sam in the SOLIDWORKS environment is the quickest because it can just look for and know that that's a note or that's a GD&T symbol or a dimension. In the standalone, I have to be more specific. So I'm going to say I want to capture a note information, and I can just window select maybe the first note here. And it's going to go in and give me a property tab where I can change information in there, check that it captured everything correctly, and my listing of characteristics shows up down here at the bottom. If we band down a little bit here, we're going to start capturing some dimensions next. So we'll grab the dimension tool, and again, we'll just window select, and it's a very intelligent OCR, so it actually knows that that was a linear style dimension. There's only one of them. There's my value with my tolerancing. If we move over to the right here where I've got a radius dimension, I'll do the same capture. Again, it's smart enough to see that that was a radius value, and there's quantity too. So in this situation, quite often you want to have an inspection done on both. So we have the split button here to now I get a 3.1 and a 3.2 to be able to put in both values. Continuing on, we're going to go back and do maybe a GD&T symbol so I can capture this. And the default is to say go look at the print for the symbol, or we could go back through and actually define this in a little more detail through the panel on the left. If we go back down to the dimensions, you notice I have lots of different types of or styles of tolerancing on the screen here. And it doesn't matter what style I use, I can just do the window selects, and it's still going to know how to apply those values correctly in the panel. And the OCR is very forgiving. You can almost train it, if you will. You can change the font style that you typically use, and you can even train it and create your own dictionaries right down to having a handwritten font, if you will. Right, now once we have all those characteristics in, similar to what Sam was doing, I can go to the left panel and maybe say, that dimension, I'm going to make it a reference value or a basic value, or what's the operation that it pertains to, so that's maybe a milling. And what's the method of measurement? Maybe this one's going to be a digital caliper that I use. Okay? And so let's say that that was a finished balloon drawing and list of characteristics ready to export. So I would do a similar thing as Sam did, where I go to my Home tab and do one or the other or both in the same step. So I can save out the PDF. So there's the balloon PDF that the inspector could be using as a guide. And then here's all my templated Excel files that, again, as Sam mentioned, we can customize to maybe your own templates. If you have a template today, we'll bring it into inspection, tweak the link so that it populates automatically, and then you're going to get this nice interface when I pop up the Excel, ready for the inspector now to use and input the results as he measures it. So you can see in just a few clicks in both interfaces, we can get to the inspection process very quickly. Now, if a design change occurs, we want to replace this PDF, we're going to go back to the drawing, and we can add, this is another neat feature, is the fact that we can add more drawings. You have different PDFs, we can combine them into this inspection project, but in this case today we're just going to do the replace drawing. So I can browse out, and now I have a version D2 for that same part, and if I open that up, it's going to ask me, hey, before I replace it, would you like to do a compare? And we'll say yes. So what it does is it overlays the two PDFs and does a nice job of color coding what's been added, what's been removed between the two. And so if you like, you can either save this out as a PDF on its own as an overlay, so you have another guide or reference. If you're finished with that, you can just hit OK, and we're literally replacing that drawing with the new version. And we can see here that, we saw in the preview that this one actually just shifted over or moved. So we can just delete that, or actually this one was deleted. This one moved up and we didn't have that as an item, so we can just simply come in and say no, delete that characteristic. We have the option to renumber or lock numbering, just as you saw Sam do earlier. All right, so you can see because I did the auto renumber, I didn't lock the balloons, it replaced the old number 5 with this one. All right, so let's go back to the presentation for a second. So, that's the quickest way in both the add-in for SOLIDWORKS and then the standalone interface. That's how we're going to capture with the OCR engine to generate your balloon drawing and report. So let's move on to the last topic, which is closing the loop. For this, though, you need to have SOLIDWORKS Inspection Professional. So there are two levels to the product. Standalone, the standard, so SOLIDWORKS Inspection Standard, gives you those two interfaces. The Pro allows you to do the inspection right within the software. So in the standalone environment, we get a couple new panels where we can actually be inputting values. So they could be manually entered, they can be using digital calipers, or we can import CMM data. And we support pretty much any machine out there. And that's, again, just a time saver and eliminating any duplicate data entry anywhere. So let's go take a look at the interface here. So if we just continue with this drawing and I want to start inputting values, like I said, I could be doing it manually. So right on the panel here on the right, we could be typing in the values, so let's say 325 there, and I get the green light for a pass. Right? If we had digital calipers, I could be just punching in my digital caliper and it'd be filling in these cells for me automatically. And of course, if we go outside of it, let's say 0.08, we're going to get a fail, right? And then if you had other notes or something, so maybe a visual check you're doing, you can have it in the drop-down where you can add in, and you can customize these naming conventions as well with the pass, marginal, or fail. So maybe I'll do marginal so you see another difference there. So we get the green, red, and yellow, right? So that's one type of measurement input. Let's open up something that's a little more involved. So bigger drawing, more values. At this level, you're probably going to take advantage of more electronic formats methods like a CMM machine. And so a couple of different neat options in the standalone environment. And another reason why you would want to take and save that project from the add-in and bring it over here is that we could be adding on some extra features like maybe a grid. So if I go to the drawing, we can add on a grid system, define the size and position of the grids, and by doing that, we're just going to get another column on our characteristics that could be part of the exported report to help us find where those characteristics are located. So I got the cells of C2 and A5 and so on. Now, if we look at the right-hand panel that pops out, when you have Pro, you get this the Cmm integration. So we can now go up to pulling in this case, a PCDMIS file that was exported from the CMM machine. So there's the info. Now it's how do we match it here? You can go through a manual process, but I don't think anybody wants to do that. So what we're going to do is use the auto assign, where as long as you've got item numbers or you want to match it to the nominal dimension or something, we can just hit the check mark and it's going to match them all up. And so there's the values that we took from the CMM, and then we could go back and do any of the manual ones through digital caliper or visual through the missing cells here. But now you can see again how it's nicely color-coded. So now when I go out and do the exporting of a PDF in Excel, now we've got the color-coded, nice presentation for a deliverable to a client, let's say, in the PDF format. And then if we go ahead and do the Excel-based export of the report, it's going to be completed, right? It's going to come in there with the color-coded and the values being entered. So now we could save this out as a PDF as well and bring it all together. All right, so again, you've seen how what SOLIDWORKS Inspection is all about, and it's just the quickest way to get your report started, both in the standalone and the add-in interface, and how with the Pro you can actually close the loop and do the full inspection process electronically through the software. But again, it's a pretty simple software, and that's what it's all about, is making your life easier with the quality of your products or purchase components. So hopefully you got something out of it, and hopefully see you in upcoming webcasts.
Yep, thank you, and see you guys later.